everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Male Perspective. I am your host, Lana Reid, and today on this day, I have the pleasure of sitting down with a gentleman by the name of Kelvin Abrams. He's an author and entrepreneur out here empowering others to start their business and be successful in it. And I'm looking forward to spending some time with him today. But first and foremost, as I always do, I take a quick moment to pause, say thank you to you, sir, for making time for me today. Time is a gift. Once we give it, we can't get it back. So I truly appreciate you setting aside this time in your day to sit down and chat with little old me. And with that, sir, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate you. Thank
Awesome.
you.
I'm looking forward to talking to you. Now you have this book out. I think it's your latest book. Let me read here. Get uncomfortable or change course, right?
Correct. Understanding what it takes to be an entrepreneur. Yes.
Awesome. And I read in your bio that you have actually been in this entrepreneurial thing for about 15 years yourself. So I'm assuming, I'm just going to jump out here and assume, my mama told me differently, but I'm going to do this, that the title of the book, Embracing Change, and especially your journey of being an entrepreneur, there's some personal tie-in or some personal messaging for you. So I guess as we start off, could you explain why you chose that title for the book?
Absolutely. A lot of times, over the years, I've talked to people, friends. I'm sure you have friends and family members that talk about wanting to be in business and, oh, I'm going to do this one day. I'm going to do this one day. And then it just looks so easy to them. A lot of people just sell T-shirts out of their car, have little business cards, want to say that they're a business owner by handing out their business cards. And so I knew I wanted to write a book since I was 18 years of age. I just didn't know what it was about. And finally, it came to me during the pandemic what it was going to be about. And it was going to be about getting uncomfortable or changing course. Because during the pandemic, it taught us all a lot, especially us business owners. It taught us how to pivot. It taught us how to change direction. It taught us how to think differently. And so the title really came out of the pandemic, where it was get uncomfortable or change course. Because being an entrepreneur is not a 9 to 5 job. It's not a job where you can punch in and punch out. It's not a job where you're off on the weekends, and it's not a job where you get to celebrate your birthday and the holidays. So it's really, being an entrepreneur is really about being uncomfortable. And I thought there was no better title than get uncomfortable or change course, meaning go get a 9 to 5.
Great. And you mentioned something in there, and I think people really don't understand this, especially the dangers with today's social media world. A lot of the messaging is, you too can be an entrepreneur. It's an open space for everybody. And within 6 months, presto magic, you're going to be making $1 million, right?
Yes.
And I think that's an unrealistic message to be giving to folks.
Yes.
So, in your journey of talking to people, coaching people, encouraging people, what is like the first thing, the one thing that you would tell them about this whole concept of entrepreneurship that they should really consider before starting?
Not to do it. And that's just point blank and simple. Don't do it. If you're not willing to be uncomfortable, don't do it. If you're
Mm.
not willing to give up social life, give up partying, friends, weekends, family events, holidays, 4th of July, Memorial Day, Christmas, Thanksgiving, funerals, weddings, the list goes on and on and on and on. Don't do it. Go get a 9 to 5. Just because of the fact that starting a business itself is a daunting task. And then once you get through the hurdles that you're going to fail at starting a business, no matter how many years of experience, the first couple of years, you're going to fail at something. And it's a matter of getting up off the ground. You know what I mean? How hard can you be hit, and how hard, and once you get hit, how quickly can you get back up off the mat?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's basically what being an entrepreneur is about. So if I had to talk to somebody, in fact, we're designing a course right now, an online course. And if I had to talk to somebody and try to encourage someone to discourage someone about being an entrepreneur, then I would send them to my course. And my online course continues with what my book is talking about, which is all the ups and the downs and the pitfalls and the trials and tribulations and everything you go through. But also it lays out exactly what you need to be able to walk into a bank and sit down and ask for a loan. It goes from the very basic to starting with your business plan to a mission statement, talking through CPAs, bookkeepers, legal stuff, different type of taxes. So it really, if you really work the course, by the time you finish the course, you'll be ready just to walk into a bank and ask for a loan.
Awesome. So listening to you talk, the whole process of being an entrepreneur is a very daunting task.
Correct.
So for you personally, what made you say one day, you know what, I think I want to do this. I want to be an entrepreneur.
So that's so funny you asked me, because I always tell people, and even I say this in my book, is I don't think you just wake up one day as an entrepreneur. It's something you're born with. And so, in my humble opinion,
Mhm.
and when I say it's something you're born with, I can remember as a child selling candy, selling toys out of my bedroom window, hustling sodas at high school and hustling cupcakes. And, you don't eat lunch and then you sell this at lunch and to get money, right? So all my life I was a hustler, and
Mhm.
so I guess being a hustler set me up to be an entrepreneur. And my father was an entrepreneur. From the way back when, as far as I can remember, my father was an entrepreneur. And so I say that just to say that I didn't wake up one day. I kind of knew from a child that I was going to be an entrepreneur. And what really kind of hit that switch for me is I had a dog, and his name was Tiki. I'm a New York Giants football fan, so all my dogs have been named after football players. So Tiki was named after Tiki Barber, a former New York Giants
Mm.
player. And I lost Tiki at a very young age, 11 months, 3 weeks, 11 months, 3 weeks, and 3 days old. I lost him. And so I was in a job that I really didn't like. I was working for the government at the time, didn't like my supervisor, kind of wasn't happy where I was at. And, I had started a business plan when I was in college. Years ago, I had started a business plan, and the business plan kind of got put to the side, like life, kind of got put to the side.
Yeah.
And when I lost my dog, I kind of just said, this is not what I want to do. And I remember January 2017, I went down to Pratt Street and incorporated my business, Tiki's Playhouse Inc., in January 2017. So that's actually how I got started. But I'd
Okay.
like to say I've been an entrepreneur all my life.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. So were there ventures before Tiki's Playhouse? I mean, besides the childhood stuff.
No, I would say the official first start of a business was Tiki's Playhouse, but I
Okay.
had side hustles now. I can't tell you all my side hustles, but I had side hustles. No, nothing illegal though. Let me make sure I say that. Nothing illegal.
I was always an entrepreneur. I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
Okay. So you mentioned in the process of starting Tiki's Playhouse, this concept of a business plan. And I've heard two opposing arguments. Some people say just get out there and get started, and some people are dead fat diehard business plan people. Your perspective, do it without the business plan, or can it go without the business plan?
You can't drive from here to Florida without a roadmap, right? So
Mm,
why would you try to start a business without a roadmap? A
mm,
business plan is your roadmap. So I can tell you the first 3 years, I revisited my business plan all the time. I revisited just to make sure I was on point and on target to where I was going. And luckily, I was very much on point as far as with my numbers, because we had worked really hard with getting the numbers situated. I work with the CPA ahead of time. I work with SCORE, or a gentleman from SCORE, to really get this business plan carved out. And we did a phenomenal job that the banker that I actually got my loan from, my first loan, said that basically my numbers after the first year were about 95% dead on. And that doesn't happen. But we actually worked our butts off. And like I said, I spent the time, the effort, the money. It took me over a year and a half to get my business plan started. So
mhm.
when people are coming up with business plans in 30 days and 60 days, they're going to fail. It takes some time to do a business plan, your mission statement, especially your numbers. The banks don't look at the business statement. They don't look at your colorful folders, the pictures. Save all that garbage. You just want a black and white business plan, and they're going to look at your mission statement and flip right back to the financials.
They want the numbers. They want the
It's
numbers.
it's a numbers game.
All righty. So forget all the pretty graphics and look, I have a
Forget all the
pretty
prettiness.
logo.
Yeah. No, forget all the pretty logos and the Canva projects and all of that stuff. It's the numbers.
We want to see the numbers. We want to see the numbers. Well,
Amen.
explain to us, because Tiki's Playhouse is, I love it. It's just a very unique concept. So could you explain to us what actually all ended up happening with Tiki's Playhouse and this business plan that you created? What goes on
Sure.
there?
Sure. So Tiki's Playhouse started 16 years ago now, and it started as a doggy daycare boarding facility. And we also did dog walking and pet sitting and taxi services.
Mhm.
So we managed to do that up until the pandemic. And once the pandemic hit, Then we kind of pivoted a little bit and stopped doing the stopped doing dog walking and pet sitting for obvious reasons. We stopped doing taxi service for, again, obvious reasons. And we kind of just started doing daycare, or not started, continued doing daycare and boarding. And that's kind of where Tiki's Playhouse came from. It evolved into Tiki's Playhouse and K9 and Coffee because we started grooming probably 10 years into my business as Tiki's Playhouse, just out of necessity. People were looking for grooming, and we started it out of necessity. I had 2 self dog wash stations. We evolved to grooming. And then after about 6 years or so with groomers, didn't like it, difficult time dealing with groomers. And then I converted my grooming area into a coffee shop. And that's where K9 and Coffee came from. So they're both located in the same building. The coffee shop's on the right side of the building, or depending on how you're looking at it, the left or the right side of the building. And Tiki's Playhouse is divided by a door that separates the building. So they're both in the same building. And so we figured coffee, because coffee is don't know where it is now, the number 2 traded commodity on the stock market next to oil. And at that time, dog business was a $56 billion industry. I'm sure it's probably 58, 59 now. Wow. And so I just kind of 2 and 2. I said, hey, coffee's number 2, dog business is $56 billion industry, put them together. And that's kind of where we came up with K9 and Coffee. And Tiki's Playhouse. Tiki's Playhouse is a cageless facility where we have outside yard where you can play outside. Inclement weather, they can play inside. We do have cageless boarding for regular dogs. Not all dogs can sleep cageless. And then K9 and Coffee, we open up our backyard on Saturdays for people to bring their dog and play with their dog in the backyard on Saturdays. Kind of like a dog park in this area.
Awesome, awesome. So let me, looking behind you, I see more than coffee, correct?
Yes. And then so a year and a half ago, again, another pivot. So a year and a half
Awesome.
ago, things were kind of slow. And someone approached me about putting a food truck on my property and then suggested that I get a liquor license. And it took some convincing because, getting a liquor license is no easy task, let me tell you. And it's very costly. And so finally, after a couple of months of convincing me, I decided to get my liquor license. And I've built a nice little bourbon bar here. So I like to call it my bourbon bar. So I have 95 different bourbons. We also have Uncle Nearest, which is a very, very good whiskey. It sounds like you know exactly who Uncle Nearest.
A lot of history, a lot of history.
A lot of history. In fact, I was down in Tennessee 3 weeks ago and met the owner, Keith Weaver.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, and Uncle Nearest Distillery was a beautiful visit. Let me tell you, it's a beautiful visit. So yes, so I feature Uncle Nearest here. I have a whole bunch of Uncle Nearest alcohol here, and I do whiskey. I do vodka, tequila. We're kind of like an old school speakeasy, is like I like to tell people. We have that old school speakeasy feel about us.
Great, great. So the dogs are sitting up there like, okay, well, mom and dad are going to go they're going to drop us off and they're going to go over there and get a little happy.
That's right. Get coffee or an Irish coffee in the morning, and then in the afternoon, get some good old Uncle Nearest. Because that's why when people come in the bar and they're like, what do you recommend? Uncle Nearest. That's the first thing that comes out of my mouth. I recommend Uncle Nearest.
Awesome. So I heard you mention the boarding. Let me speak some projection here because there's more than dog lovers in this world. Do you board cats as well or no?
I used to, and that stopped about 2 or 3 years into it when I got this one cat that I had to give a shot to that just scratched my arm and left permanent marks on me, all because I had to give it an injection. And that's when I stopped boarding cats. So yeah, we don't board cats anymore. And then we turned the cat area into my grooming area. And that's how we got grooming. So yeah, no, we don't do cats. Cats are animals that are better off at home.
Okay. So let me get back to the book here because I can run my mouth all day. I was on Amazon, I believe it was, and I was reading the chapter listing.
Yes.
And there was a chapter about hiring, and I think it said something like your mom doesn't work here, your mother doesn't work here, or I think that was the title. And with new entrepreneurs, because a lot of times, I think the inclination is to bring in people that you're familiar with, that you're close to, and I'm getting from your book that might not be the best option. So is it best or is it not best to hire mom, brother, sister?
Yeah, no.
But they know how you work. They know your quirks. They know. They know which glass of bourbon you're gonna want.
Yeah. So that particular chapter you're referring to as Your Mom Doesn't Work Here, that's really talking about the unfortunate level of how can I say this in a nice way without offending people? The lack thereof, or the lackluster work ethic that we're dealing with today in today's community,
Uh-huh.
with the youth. And
Yeah.
so when I say Your Mom Doesn't Work Here, it just goes about, and it talks a few funny stories in the book about things that I had to go through and deal with. And it's like, oh my God, your mom doesn't work here. Meaning, like, turn the light off, close the door. Did you close this door? The heat's on, close the door.
Oh,
The air conditioner, turn the light
okay.
off. Did you lock the front door? Lock the front door. Things
Okay.
like that is really what it talks about. And then as far as working with family and friends can be your greatest ally. And then at the same time, they can be, uh, very difficult,
Pain
very
in the butt,
difficult.
right?
Right, yeah, to deal with, and I learned that you kind of just have to let your friends and family fall where they are. So either they're going to really support you and accept you, or they're going to be standoffish, but it doesn't mean they don't support you if they're standoffish. It just means that they may not agree with your day-to-day business and how you do things, whether it be because they don't want to see you suffer. Because Lord knows, my family knows I suffer a lot for my craft and I struggle a lot. And I should say I have struggled a lot. And I've had many surgeries during the last 16 years, all relating to the stress and things like that. So I've gone through a lot of physical changes here. And my mom, number one, doesn't like it. And of course, I have brothers that are not happy about it as well. But when you're an entrepreneur, you don't really think about yourself. You think about that end goal. And for me, it's like, sure, without me, there is no business. So you got to have self-care and self-preservation,
True.
things like that. And that's what I'm learning right now is self-care.
Awesome.
But at the same time, without me, there's no vision. And so I'm so focused on my vision that, it really doesn't matter what happens to me, is because I have a clear path. And, yes, there are trees and obstacles in my way, but I have a clear path. I see the finish line and I'm not going to stop until I get there.
Awesome. 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 So entrepreneurship, running a business is not a linear process. It's just kind of up in there.
Up and
In
down.
your personal journey, was there ever any time where you said, just I'm going back to the 9 to 5? I just, you know what?
So there was one time where I had surgery. And
Oh,
so it was after surgery. And then I was left alone here at work to work by myself. And this was when I had hip surgery. And yeah, and the very next day I was up working in a coffee shop. I think that was a challenging time for me. Yes, that was a challenging time for me where I wished things were different. And there was never a time where I said I want to go back to my 9 to 5, but there was a time where I just kind of wish things were different for me. I went through a little bout of depression, crying at night by myself, screaming at the Lord, why did this happen to me? Why you do this to me? Right. But then that's when I kind of go towards my faith, and I'm
yeah.
not a very religious man. I don't read the scriptures as much as I should, but I have certain scriptures, that I like to read, and kind of when I'm feeling down, I kind of lean towards the Bible. And I know I shouldn't do that only when I'm feeling down. I should lean towards the Bible every day. If you ask my mother, I should lean towards the Bible every single day. But I am happy to say that I do read the Bible when I have difficulties, and when I need some uplift, and when I'm struggling, I'll listen to music. I may read books or things like that. So
Awesome.
to answer your question again, I don't think there's ever a time where I wanted to go back to my 9 to 5. But I think there were a few challenging times where I questioned God and actually spoke out loud and yelling at God, like, why the heck did you? So there are a few times where I've had a coming to Jesus talk.
There you go. There you go. And I'm hearing you mention, and you mentioned it earlier, that I think when folks start this entrepreneurship process, that they need to build in that self-care time as well, because it can be a draining process emotionally.
It is. And it wasn't until recently that I'm actually now really focusing on self-care. Before it was, I just did the job, got it done, and I was a hamster on a wheel. And then you start to break down, your body starts to break down, and then your friends and family start to say, hey, you're getting grumpy and you're grouchy and you're moody all the time, right? And so I had to kind of make some adjustments and change. And so it's a daily process for me, and it's a daily struggle, because every day you wake up and there's something new.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you have a new, it's like I liken it to be an ER doctor, right? As an ER doctor, you go to work. Every day there's a new patient, there's a new issue, there's a new broken leg, there's a broken finger, there's a pole up somebody's rectum. I mean, there's something new that you deal with every single day. And as an entrepreneur, it's the same thing. Of course, you know, doctors are much more smarter than me. Not all entrepreneurs, but at least than me.
Well, they're not as smart running a doggy daycare, though.
Exactly.
There
and
you
a
go.
coffee shop and a gym.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
So, yeah. So they just have one patient and I got 4.
There you go. They probably wouldn't want yours. Anyway. So have you gotten to a comfort zone in your setup and your design with your staff and everything where you could go to Turks and Caicos for a month and not have to check in and feel comfortable that everything will run okay without you?
Before the pandemic, yes. After the pandemic, we are in a new world.
Oh.
We are in a new world. And now the answer is no.
Really?
No. Yeah.
You got to always kind of be there some way, somehow.
It's almost as if when the pandemic hit, it took away neurons and things from people's brains, and it took away things of normal life, like functioning, normal life, like this is how it is, you know. Now it's, you know, all of a sudden a full-time job is 25 hours a week, you know, and that's not a full-time job. All of a sudden it's, hey, come in for an interview, and it's like, are we going to do an interview on Zoom? And it's like, how can you work with dogs and be handling dogs and do an interview on Zoom? So the answer to the question again is, before the pandemic, I could have gone away. In fact, I did go away several times to Jamaica, you name it, New Zealand for 2 weeks. So yeah, before the pandemic. But afterwards, I guess when people got all this stimulus money, it did something to their brain, because Lord, let me tell you, things have changed.
Yes, it has. You know, I was talking to a friend about that the other day. It's like some sort of magical pixie dust came and like everybody's kind of like
like that. It was just like that. When the money dried up, people were like, oh, I don't have to work. I'm not going to go back to work. How are they getting money? I don't know.
You gotta eat, you gotta keep a roof over your head.
I don't know, but I tell you, it has gone down since then.
It is really crazy. It is really crazy. All righty. So the online course, when will that be available for folks? And how long is it?
Yep, it's about gosh, I think it has 10 or 11 modules. It should be, I'm hoping by the middle of this month, if not at the latest, end of September. But we're about 90% through with it. It's just a matter of uploading all the modules, kind of going through the modules, doing a quick sale, you know, a test sale, running through a course. We got to add a certificate on the course, and add some more questions and things like that. So the online course follows the workbook, because I do have a workbook as well. And it follows my hard copy or soft copy back. So it's a workbook, a hard book, and an online course. So it's all three that you really should have, because you're able to take notes and things like that. And on the online course, there's a lot of questions and quizzes. And when you pass them, you'll get a certificate saying that you've kind of passed this section, you know? And then at the end, I mean, it's not like my certificate means anything other than that you've gone through my particular course.
Experience is a lot.
Right.
It's worth a lot.
Exactly. But at least it gives you the confidence. My course will give you the confidence to be through with it, to be done with it. And then I'm going to also have a link there. If somebody wants to reach me directly, they can have a link there where they can have a paid mentorship, or if they want to engage with me in some other way, then we're going to have a link there at the end so that they can engage with me for an additional cost, of course. Like if somebody wanted me to review their business plan or review, their financial numbers and things like that, then that's an opportunity for them to connect directly with me.
Awesome. So 2 questions. Tiki was a very interesting dog. What breed of dog?
Weimaraner. Yeah, beautiful dogs. Some people call them the gray ghost dogs. There's a famous photographer named William Wegman, and William Wegman always has these beautiful pictures of these gray, skinny little dogs with these beautiful eyes. They're the Weimaraner dogs, and he always dresses them up in wigs and has them standing in chairs and different poses. So William Wegman, that's how I fell in love with Weimaraners. I was at college at Rutgers University, and I saw a girl come out of a pizza store one day with a little puppy, and I'm like, what kind of dog is that? And then she told me, and I started doing research, and then lo and behold, William Wegman pulled up. And so in
Oh,
college, I had all these pictures of Weimaraners all around my dorm and in my room. And I just knew I was going to get a Weimaraner. And as soon as I graduated college, I got my first Weimaraner.
awesome. So
And I've
you
had
have,
5 since.
oh, okay. So they're okay. Oh, so they're currently in the family now?
Yes, there are 2 of them.
Awesome. Beautiful, beautiful. I looked at, when I first saw it, I said it looked like I'm going blunt, the racing dogs.
Oh, Greyhound.
Yeah, at first I thought it was that, but then I looked a little closer. I said, no, it looks a little heftier, but you
Yes,
know,
they're
a little
bird
more
dogs.
body to it. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, they're hunting dogs. They're bird dogs.
Okay. Well, let me speak some stuff into existence and probably put some more burden on you. You probably don't want to carry any particular opportunity of seeing some more locations in the future.
I do have a few irons in the fire right now with other projects. I like to tell people that I'm a creative person, so I'm always thinking of new businesses. And right now, on a back burner, to be honest with you, I have 2 businesses on a back burner waiting. Both of them actually are trademarked, and they're just waiting to come
Okay.
into fruition. And how it's going to work is when I finally can get stable employees here, because again, it's been a tough couple of years finding stable employees. And once I can get some stable employees around me and some normalcy around me, then I'll go ahead and get those other 2 businesses up and running off the
Okay.
ground.
Awesome.
And I'm working on my third, well, I should say my second novel, but it'll be my third published book. So I'm working on my second novel right now.
And we could expect that when?
Next year sometime.
Okay.
Next year sometime.
All
I'm
right.
not really sure because we put that on the back burner to go with this online course because we felt it was very crucial to kind of get that online course out there now to go along with get uncomfortable or change course.
Beautiful. Well, I'm going to ask you my random question, and then I'm going to ask for you to tell us how we connect with you. I don't drink, but I will come up there and get a cup of coffee and look at the dogs and walk around and see what they're up to. So I'll ask you for that. Let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got.
So I'm psychic. I know exactly what you're going to ask me. Yes, I'm single. I have no kids and I've never been married.
That is the biggest promotion and marketing scam. No wonder he's successful. He knows how to promote and market. But that is not the question, sir. What is the game show? Mom.
I did one of those Johnny Carson moments. Remember, he used to take the envelope and go,
With that hat he used to have on. We're dating ourselves. We're both dating ourselves. Yeah, with the little hat he used to have on.
Yes.
Anyways, the question, sir, is
all right.
Name a song you know by heart.
Name a song I know by heart. Good question. There's a lot of them, but let me see which song I really want to tell you that I know by heart. Because you're gonna ask me to sing it. I know you are.
No.
Oh, okay.
Are you good at singing first? Oh, okay. No, definitely not. I want to.
So there's a artist, Teddy Swims. You know, he's new artist. He has this song called 911. So I know that song by heart. 911, Teddy Swims.
Teddy Swims. I'm gonna have to check it out.
I listen to that all the time. Teddy Swims, 911, and Lose Control, and but Teddy Swims, 911.
Beautiful. Well, sir, tell us how we drop our dog off if we're in town or just stop by for a drink or some coffee or that, and how we pick up the book. How do we connect with you?
Awesome. So I have a website, kelvinabrams.com. So KELVIN Abrams, ABRAMS.com. Coffee shop is K9andcoffee.com. And Tiki's Playhouse is tikisplayhouse.com. So there are 3 ways you can reach me, but KelvinAbrams.com works the best.
And if we're a disciplined, dedicated person looking for a job, there's a place we can come there and apply for a job.
Absolutely. Tiki's Playhouse is always hiring. It seems like I keep people for 30 days and I'm on Indeed over and over. I'm on Indeed all the time.
You're not the only one. I hear it's really rough out there for folks trying to
rough.
find it.
It is rough out here.
That's so sad. It's so sad. That's so sad. Well, sir, I have truly enjoyed my time with you. And I wish, although I get to see this, I wish I got to see a little puppy, but
Yeah.
I'll have to come in person and see.
Yeah, we're in the coffee shop here, so the dogs can't come inside. They have to be outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we
Board,
can.
health board, and all of that stuff, right?
Correct,
All
correct.
right, awesome, awesome. Well, I wish you continued success, and I'll keep my eye on some franchises opening up somewhere. I'm just putting it out there, putting it out
Please
there.
do. Please do.
There you go. And I wish you continued success in everything you do and touch, and good, stable employees come your way. Just blessings on blessings, sir.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time today.
Awesome. That is all for this week's episode of The Male Perspective. I'm your host, Lana Reid, and I will see everybody next time.